Good afternoon from sunny downtown Toronto. At Exhibition Place, we have the second Sim Series doubleheader. 2 weeks in a row, baby. We've got 4 races in 2 weeks coming at you from Canada. It's the Sim Series Amateur League. I didn't change the graphic. Let me do that really quickly. This is a professional show here. We only show you the very best. All right, here we go. It's the Amateur League Toronto Grand Prix at Exhibition Place. 36 drivers, all equally rated, all in their very first season, because this is the very first season here in the Amateur League, running these beautiful, beautiful Pinty's cars. They look so good. And practice getting underway, but really, you know how this works. It's the Amateur League. We just go right to the race. Noah Johnson says, this is not Canada. You are entirely incorrect, sir. This is literally my city. All right. We're going to go ahead and simulate some qualifying and just jump through the nonsense. We're getting straight to the track. No pre-qualifying. No one's going home early. No nonsense. We're just going to hit the race button, all right? Just a reminder for all of you who are subscribers on Twitch, or if you're a $5 tier patron or higher, you get access to live timing and scoring. You can follow along with the race and keep tabs on every single driver and how they're doing. So, we're going to skip ahead to the command, and then we'll go through the field, hopefully get all the way through it by the time they go green. But let's go ahead and skip back forwards to through the command. The most famous words in motorsport.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Keep an eye on your temps for this first segment. We shouldn't really be in danger of overheating, but it will, probably get up to about 220, so just keep an eye on that.
So as the field paces, we can quickly take a look at the qualifying results. Ethan Head putting that number 8 Chevy Impala on pole, and Dog in the 04 on the outside of him. Next row back, I'm just going to keep this up so I can read it. Nathan Kiani, hometown hero, in the number 32. He's starting in 3rd place ahead of Cody Boggs in the number 7. Then it's Alan Johnston and Dumbledore on row 3. Row 4 is Nick Sant and Caleb Strope ahead of Thick Daddy and Roger Gregory, rounding out the top 10. Then it's Anthony Lopez, TS Media, Tropical Cyclone 100, NJC 217, and Jake Corway putting that 15 in 15th. The Chisholm family starting in 16th ahead of Jacob Hits, NASCAR Fan 09 ahead of NASCAR Fan 48. This is getting confusing. This is 55 slow motion. David Alvarez, Winty, that Iron 2003 guy in 23rd. Then it's DualShock, Dysek 18, Mitchell Carter, Nitro, Cyclone, Drayden Zen, Mountain Dew Fan for Life, John Felbert, Huang Do, Pantallica, Zachary Fitzwater, That Racing Kid, and Cigar in 36th. Boy, when you can see it all on the screen, you can really get through it quickly. Look at how close this field is. We got a really tight street circuit. The first time ever that the Sim Series has been on a temporary track like this. And it's going to be tough. These walls are close. One little mistake and that car is binned. It's going to be tough to pass. It's pretty tight here as well. So we've got 34 laps. We're in for a pretty good show. The field files out of turn 11 onto the front straightaway. Ethan had that very recognizable orange and red Coca-Cola. Chevy Impala takes the green flag, and a good start by Ethan Head. He's already starting to pull away from Dog. Looking to lead this thing early on, but Dog around the outside of turn 1. See if he can get a good launch out of 2, and he does. He's still there. Onto the back straightaway they go. Still side by side. Drivers getting a little bit close together as they're hidden by the bridge, but Dog in the 04 on the outside. Gonna have a tough run through turn 3. He's just pretty much even with the 8 car. So you see Nathan Kiani trying to get past the 7 behind them. Dog hangs around the outside of turn 3. Now he's got the inside through turns 4 and 5. Still has a nose under the 8 of Ethan Head. These guys have been side by side for half a lap. Now a little bit of contact between the 8 and the 04. Through turn 6, Ethan Head now has the advantage. Dog gonna have to work the outside here. As through the trees goes the camera. He's got to go around the outside in the kink of turn 7, and now outside again in turn 8. These two have been side by side almost the entire lap battling for the lead. Ethan Head just noses out in front of Dog, and he finally clears him to take the lead in the latter parts of the lap. And here they come out of the final turn. Ethan Head in the 8 car holding on to the lead, but just barely. That was a hard charge by Dog in the 04 and a fantastic battle, and they have 34 laps here. I don't think he's quite done yet. He's going to stay close behind that 8 car, maybe get a little bit of draft on the back straightaway here. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this between these two drivers throughout the course of this race. What a battle. I mean, what a show put on here at this track. Fantastic course, but now everything getting a little bit more settled. We can see the pack going single file out of turn 3 through turn 4. It's really hard to run here side by side, and when you do, you're really slow, but seeing a few cars still battling deep in the pack. Ethan Head now starting to pull away a little bit from Dog in the 04. Nathan Chiani closing in that 32. This is someone who knows these streets like it's his own hometown. Why? Because it is. Nathan Chiani, sponsored by local Canadian Tire in that number 32. Runs a little bit wide through turn 11, though. He's going to lose some time down the back straightaway. And we've got a battle here. This is for... what is this? 5th place? 5th place here with Dumbledore in the 07 and Alan Johnston in the 03 working the outside, side by side on the back straightaway. And it looks like Johnston gets a nose ahead of the 07, but he's still there. He's going to have the inside line through turn 3. Going to have to dive it down a little bit. Alan Johnson holding pretty well on the outside as they come through turn 4 now, still side by side. Through turn 5 again, Johnston holding on. The 07 gets a little bit loose and contact again. Seems easy for these guys to run into each other at that point in the track, but they're still side by side. I'm amazed at how equal this place is. These guys have been running, you know, side by side through all sorts of turns. Even the kink here. Dumbledore still trying to hold on to this 5th place. Johnson hangs it around the outside. Now he's got the inside through turns 9, 10, and 11. But Dumbledore will clear him with just a couple turns to go in the lap. And he's going to hold on. He's defending that 5th place, and he's done a pretty good job. Alan Johnson's got a decent run, though. I don't know if he's going to go anywhere with it. Not quite just yet, but he is really close to the back bumper of that 07. Field now sorting themselves out more single files. We take a look at the front. Ethan Head pulling away a little bit here from Dog in the 04 and Nathan Chiani. They're really spreading out. And it looks like the 7 of Cody Boggs doing pretty well. He's caught up to the 32. And from that battle, the 07 and the 03 have a whole lineup of cars behind them. Caleb Stroup in the 14, Nick Sant in the 40, and then Thick Daddy, fan favorite, in the 81. Had a very good run last week. Oh, Nick goes a little bit wide and taps the wall coming out of turn 5. See if Thick Daddy can capitalize a little bit. Gets a decent run through turn 6. Still, Nick Sant holds on to that spot, though, as we've got some more battles here. This is NJC and Jacob Hitz. That Zero had a pretty eventful race last week at CTMP. Here he is battling at the number 17. This is for 14th place. Jacob Hitz hanging around the outside of turn 10. Now he's got the inside of turn 11. Gets a good run out of the corner. But NJC is still there. This looks like this is going to be another one of these battles that just lasts most of a lap. I mean, it is so difficult to pass here, but boy, these guys are working hard to try and do it. Jacob Hitz hanging around the outside, and he does finally clear NJC as they get onto the back straightaway. Behind them as well, we saw Slow Motion in the 55 get past the Chisholm family in the 57. That was for 16th place. We go back up the field to take a look at the leaders. The gap between first and second staying pretty similar to what it was before. If anything, that 32 has closed into that 04 a little bit. We know these two drivers have a lot of history together. I wonder how aggressive Chiani's going to be if he wants this second place. We still have quite a few laps to go, and I believe they can do it without pitting. Actually, I'm going to go and verify that for myself. Oh, definitely. they can absolutely do without pitting. So Ethan Head in the lead now by almost an entire second over Dog in the 04. Let's take a look at the field spread as they come down the back straightaway on Lakeshore Boulevard. Everything's pretty evenly spread. I mean, it's such a hard track to get a run on a guy, and when you start trying to make a move side by side, the lap times are just so much slower. So everyone's staying in line for now. Again, we're only, 5 laps into this deal, but we've seen some fantastic on-track action already. Ethan Head still leading from Dog and Kiani, watching these gaps, staying pretty similar. If anything, the 32s drop back a little bit. Wow, you can really see the field spread on the front straightaway. They're pulling away from each other here. That's a great view of some trees. And it is pretty even through most of the field. See if we can find any battles here deep in the pack. Looks like the 77 of Drayden Zen holding up some cars. He's got a bit of a train at the back here. And the 12 of Cigars, but stuck at the back all day. Him and Zachary Fitzwater in the 59, who's had not a great start to the season for that team. I mean, an engine explosion at CTMB after he was running at the back. Plus, 35th place he's sitting in right now. It has not been a fantastic few races here. As John Felber goes a little bit wide. That allows Mountain Dew Fan for Life to catch up a little bit. Pretty close behind his bumper here through turn 6. Not close enough to make a move, I don't think. So we're still going to stay single file here. I'm going to take a look at the results here from the last race and just see how the big hitters from last week are doing this week. So Thick Daddy, who won in dramatic fashion at CTMP, is doing pretty well. He's sitting in 9th place, so a solid top 10 right now. And again, we're still early on. He might be a little bit more aggressive later. Wong Do not doing too hot. He finished 2nd, but right now he's sitting down in 30th. He's deep in the pack, and as these guys keep spreading out, he's just going to lose way more time to the leaders. Anthony Lopez in the 75, he finished 3rd last week. Right now he's sitting in 12th. Also pretty mediocre performance for him. And then Slow Motion and David Alvarez, the only other top 5 finishers from last week, also kind of sitting, 16th, 24th. Not really fantastic performance from either of them. So far it looks like Thick Daddy looking to hold on to that points lead if everything stays the way that it is now. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get some chaos or a caution or something to shake this race up. We still got a long way to go here on the streets of Toronto. Ethan Head at the front, still unable to pull away from Dog in the 04. That gap has stayed around a second for the past 5 or 6 laps. And we're really starting to see the top 3 pull away from everyone else. There's a couple seconds between Kiani in the 32 and then the 7 of Cody Boggs. He's got a bit of a train forming up behind him. The 07, the 03, we already saw these guys duking it out earlier on. And Dumbledore goes really wide through turn 11. This could give Alan Johnston a good run, but he's not quite there enough to get a bumper underneath the 07, at least not at this point in the race. He's going to stay behind him on the backstretch here, see if he can get a good run. Maybe dive down into turn 3? I don't know. Looks like Dumbledore got things sorted out, and now he's pulling away from Alan again. Oh, but Johnston goes a little bit wide in turn 3. Looks like he's able to control it a little bit. So it's a tough track. I mean, we can see these guys making some mistakes, but nothing big enough. Not yet. But again, as we get later on, these guys are going to get more and more aggressive, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see some cars putting each other in the wall, especially through this section here. See a lot of people running into each other. It looks like Cigar's got some damage on the right side of his car. You can see it in this shot. Or, sorry, his left side of the car. It is caved in. So, the 12 definitely visited one of the walls at some point. It's no wonder he's sitting in last place right now. I mean, the left rear wheel is sticking out of the car. At least he's holding onto the pack here still. As we see the 24 and the 16 go side by side out of turn 11. These guys battling for 32nd place. That racing kid looking to take the spot from Mountain Dew fan for life, trying to hang around the outside of turns 1 and 2. We've seen some drivers able to do it because you get such a good exit. The driver on the inside has to get way out of the gas, and then you get a nice shot down the back straightaway. And a pretty nice pass from that racing kid, moving his way slowly but surely up through the back of the field. As we see, it's really tough between turns 5 and 6 there. We're seeing a lot of drivers get loose. I wonder if that's possibly where Cigar got the wall. Up through the field, things are still looking pretty orderly. Alan Johnston still close behind the rear end of Dumbledore. I mean, he's been looking at pass for a while now. But just can't get a good enough run in that 07 car. Heather Price asks, when is the next oval race? That is a very good question. After this week on the streets of Toronto, next week on the Tuesday, we're going to Barrie Speedway. Pretty close by, just a couple of hours north of here, and that is going to be the first short oval of the Sim Series Amateur League. It is a tiny track, and with all these cars on it, I think we're going to have to run a couple of heat races, knock some people out, and then get a main event. It should be busy. It's a tight track. We're going to have a lot of cars on it, and it might get a little bit crazy. Certainly a stark contrast to what we have this week on the larger road courses, although I guess this place feels pretty tight with the walls on either side of the track. So we'll be looking forward to that next week. If you want to see the full SimSeries Amateur League schedule, it's available in the Discord, of course. After next week at Barrie, we're going to head across the pond to the UK for a couple of fantastic road courses out there on the British side of things. Then we're going to take a little trip through Belgium and France, and then the series flies back on over to the US, where we're going to hit some more ovals, and finally to end off the series back in Canada. So Ethan Head in the 8 car just in control of this race. Still has about a second and a half over Dog, who's just been unable to close in. That 8 car has been perfect so far. Hasn't made any significant errors, that's for sure. Although they had a fantastic battle for the first couple laps. Now Dog is falling back a little bit. Keone staying close behind. And there's a pretty big gap to Cody Boggs in this whole train of cars. The 7, the 07, the 03, the 14, the 40. And of course, last week's winner, Thick Daddy. Is that where we're going to be racing next week for the Sim Series? No. We only have 2 doubleheaders for Amateur League and Sim Series. Beyond that, the Sim Series is going to start moving elsewhere. So while this series is going to stay in Barrie, the Sim Series is then going to go down to Richmond. Richmond, Auto Club, Bristol, Talladega. We're going to have a fun set of races coming up in the next month or so. Boy, Alan Johnson in the 03 has just been working the back of Dumbledore, but can't get close enough. Let's ride on board with the 03 for a little bit and just get a sense of, you know, what parts of the track he's got an advantage on the 07 and what parts he's fallen back on as he runs a little bit wide through turn 11 and loses some time. We're going to hop on the hood cam here. Boy, he closes up so much in the braking zone there for turn 3. Now he's just within a couple car lengths of the 07, but he's pretty close to the 7 of Cody Boggs as well. About a car length separating the 07 and the 03 right now. As Dumbledore currently sitting in 5th place. Look at the field come through the kink. Everyone's still single file. Let's see if we can get a camera on the... There they come. Sliding out through turn 7. That really fast kink. Trying to keep it away from the wall because that thing is dangerous. You get off the line a little bit, it's dirty, and you're going right in the wall. At the front again, Ethan Head pulling away even more. Now he's 1.5 seconds ahead of Dog. He himself is another 1.2 seconds ahead of Nathan Chiani in the 32. And of course, this whole train of cars still very, very close together, especially down at this end of the track. Don asks, when is the main series at Toronto? Well, I'll tell you what, it's in around half an hour. As this race is almost halfway complete. Currently on lap number 16 of 34. It's been a pretty good run so far. We had some fantastic battles at the front, but now Ethan Head in that 8 car is just pulling away. You can see the gap increasing every single lap between him and the 04. Last time around it was 1.5 seconds. This time around it's 1.6. So he's pulling about a 10th on him still. And with these drivers not having to pit here, I wouldn't be surprised if Ethan Head leads start to finish. I mean, Dog's going to have to really start pushing at some point. I mean, we're halfway through this thing. Ethan Head's led every step of the way. And it's a single run race. Pure explaining to Nort that people from Toronto call it Toronto. I mean, that's just how it is. Look at the gap between 3rd and 4th. Wow. Cody Boggs right now is just, he's running about, last time around he was half a second slower than Chiani. So every lap, he's falling half a second back. The leaders last time around, Ethan Head ran a 1 minute and 8.18. And the next two are running 1:8.0s. Cody Boggs is running a 1:8.47. That 7 car is struggling and just packing this train of cars behind him. This has certainly been the story of the midfield today. And it's really giving us a big 3 scenarios. These top 3 are closing in on each other yet again. I feel like every time the gap grows, I don't know if Ethan Head's making a mistake or if the 04 and the 32 are just pushing a little bit more because they've closed this thing back down. Now Alan Johnston maybe with some pressure from Caleb Stroup in the 14, not close enough to make a move, but still pretty close behind him. You can get a good run on this straightaway, maybe. That's not a very useful camera angle. It's hard. They just can't seem to get a huge run on each other down the straightaway. And once they break, they're all crunched back up together. Whoa, the 03 goes pretty wide. Here comes the 14 of Caleb Stroup trying to stake it on the inside through turn 6. That's a hard spot in the track to pass. And the 03 gets a better run in the corner. He's clear of him as they go through turn 7 in the kink. Looked like the 14 had just a little shot there. And couldn't make it work. Alan Johnston will hold on to 6th place as Nick Sant goes a little bit wide through turn 9. But it looks like he has a decent 10 and 11, able to stay ahead of the current points leader and last week's race winner, Thick Daddy. As onto the straightaway, the 0 of Jacob Hitz passes Tropical Cyclone for 13th. And he gets it done pretty cleanly. Had a way better run on the front straightaway, able to clear him before turn 1. They don't have to battle for a full lap. Clean and tidy. Which is a bit unusual for the 0 car after he and Dog had a bit of an incident last week. Top 3 still pretty close together. The rest of the field still closely packed behind Cody Boggs. So we look at the 55 of Slow Motion here, currently sitting at 16th. He had a great run at Canadian Tire where in the last couple laps he really made some ground. Ended up with a top 5. But he's going really wide through turn 9. That's going to set him up pretty badly for 10, but it looks like he gets through 11 okay. We're looking here at the 33 of Roger Gregory, close behind TS Media. These guys battling for 10th place right now. Seen a lot of this race, where drivers are catching up. It looks like they can battle, but just not willing to get out of line and make a move. I mean, it's tough. That 33 is going to stay behind the 1 for now. We go back to the front. Ethan Head with about a second lead over Dog in the 04, and then Nathan Kiani. Boy, if Dog hadn't been dumped at CTMP, he would easily be leading the point standings. 2 fantastic runs so far this season. And that 04 is proving to be a very strong team. Last time around, he ran a 1/10 of a second faster than Ethan Head. So starting to close in a little bit, but not quite in position to make a move. Boy, I was talking about Slow Motion, that 55. Now here he goes on the inside of NJC. This is for that 15th spot. NJC squeezes him coming out of turn 2. Boy, they were close together. And close again onto the back straightaway. 55 trying to run up the inside. He's going to be there for turn 3. See if NJC can hang it around the outside. We've seen a few drivers do it so far today. Slow Motion not clear. NJC's got the inside through turn 4 and then through turn 5. Not there. Good run by the 55, and Slow Motion gets the pass completed. NJC not quite done yet. He's sticking his nose in turn 6. Trying to fight back for that 15th spot, but nothing quite good enough. 55 has finally completed that pass. Slow Motion has been a pretty good run here late in the race as we're approaching 10 to go. Pretty even across the top 3 still. No big surprises there. Deep in the pack, we're looking at the 74 here in the braking zone. A great move. Or sorry, that's the 45 of Cyclone. 74 in the Sim Series, not quite here. A really late move and a pretty good one on the 80 of DualShock. But the 80 gets a much better run out of turn 2, and it looks like he might clear the 45. Cyclone's still going to try the inside through turn 3, though. And he has the right to do it. His car is there. But now he's got to defend around the outside of turn 4 and turn 5. Really close together, the 80 and the 45. Through turn 4. Looks like they managed to stay off each other. And through turn 6, Cyclone now with the inside. These guys currently fighting over 26th place. But boy, they are fighting hard. Cyclone on the inside. Now he's going to be on the outside. Trying to hang it around there through turns 10 and 11. DualShock still trying to defend on the inside of turn 11. They're going to be side by side again on the front straightaway. Who's going to have a better run into turn 1? You see the 24 and the 06 battling behind them. These guys have been side by side for an entire lap now. Squeezing each other coming out of turn 2. DualShock got such a great run out of the corner. They're getting pretty close together again on the straightaway. And it looks like exactly where they were a whole lap ago. So Cyclone's still on the back foot down the back straightaway, now trying to move through turn 3 on the inside, and of course he's going to be on the outside through turns 4 and 5 again. This is Deja Vu. This time they do tap a little bit. Just a bit of bumper contact. I think they'll be okay. And now Cyclone working the inside through the kink. Boy, has this been quite a battle. We've seen this all day long. Once these guys do finally get side by side, they can stay that way for, I mean, laps. These guys have been going for laps now. It's almost 2 laps they've been side by side. And I'd like to remind you, this is a battle for 26th place. As we can see the battle for 28th behind them between the 56 of Nitro and the 77 of Drayden Zen. Nitro able to hold on to that spot for now. And these guys are still battling. The 45 and the 80, I mean, they've got some chemistry here. I don't know the last time I've seen guys go side by side for 2.5 laps. I didn't think this was possible on a road course. My goodness. Cyclone and DualShock are fighting hard. And I've never seen cars that are this equal. Cyclone's still working the inside of DualShock. My goodness. And it looks like he's finally clear of the 80. Through turn 10, the 45 completes the move. It only took him 3 entire laps. And look at the gap that he has now to the 97. These guys have been running side by side for so long and just, I mean, they're running about 1.5 seconds slower than everyone who's single file. You can see the train that they've gathered behind them and how much time they've lost to Dysek 18, the next car up the road. Hard fighting for 26th. So let's go back up through the field again and take a look at our leaders. Top 3 still around 1.2 seconds apart from each other, with about 2.2 seconds spread across the 3 of them. Ethan Head has been in control of this race as they cross the line with just 8 laps to go. Down the back straightaway, Ethan Head with a pretty big lead. Still, it looks like he's pulling away, although he ran almost identical lap times to the 04 last time around and to the 32 of Nathan County. So things are pretty settled. The 04 has really got to turn up the wick if he wants this win. Although considering what happened to him last week, Dog might be happy with just a finish today. In the back of the pack, we've got a bit of a battle. This is the 73 of John Felber and the 06 of Huang Do, and it looks like Pantallica and the 78 trying to get involved. These guys way in the back of the field, but still fighting it out. As the 06 of Huang Do has been passed by John Felber. Pantallica looked like he wanted a little piece of it, but couldn't quite get anything out of it. Oh, and we got some tire marks in the track here. We might have had someone take a trip into a wall. No caution. Really not sure who that was. Let's go back and see if we can figure it out here. That looks to be in the entrance to turn 6. And, oh, we got a wreck. It's David Alvarez. In the 68, after such a good run last week, he's trying to pass the 88 of Mitchell Carter. And it's this one spot between turn 5 and 6. We've seen it be problematic. The 88 just hooks him a little bit. Oh, and he bounces up into the wall. And Dysick says, yoink, I will take those 2 spots. So he's going to move up into 23rd. David Alvarez falls down into 25th. And he's probably got a little bit of damage. Let's go on board here with the 97, because this would have been a pretty scary moment. I mean, you're coming around this turn with 2 guys side by side, and well, let's just take a look at what he does here. Just absolutely guns it around the outside and gets past both of them. David Alvarez on the radio, not very happy, but it looks like the car is still driving okay. But obviously lost a couple of spots. Did a little bit of damage to that 68, and not too happy with the driving of the 88 of Mitchell Carter on that one. Lucky to keep that thing rolling. I mean, that thing almost flipped over. And a caution would have really, really blown that race apart. Ethan Head still leads by about a second over Dog and Nathan Kiani. This has been the story all day, these top 3. Driving away from everyone else, but not really driving away from each other. As we look deep in the pack, Pantallica taking a peek at the 06 of Huangdo, but no moves to be made there. And the rest of the field looks like they're all single file for now, and continuing to spread out here. As the leaders just cross the line with 5 laps to go here on the streets of Toronto. Ethan Head has been in control all day. Nobody else has led a lap. After a tight battle with Dog, I guess the 04 could have led a lap, but really it came down to those last couple of corners where Ethan Head finally cleared him and managed to start pulling away. Still got the tire marks on the track where David Alvarez went for a bit of a ride. But other than that, it's been an incident-free day. Of course, we had a couple of cars tap some walls, but nothing to cause a caution, which is very impressive. I think this will be the first race in a little while that we've had without a single caution. Definitely the first amateur league race without a caution, but we're only on race number 2, so that's not a hugely surprising stat. Back up the field again. Dog and Ethan Head still running pretty much the exact same lap times. 04 is doing all that he can to keep up, but not enough to catch up. I would love to see him close in and make a move, but it just looks like it's not possible. Unless Ethan Head makes a very big mistake. I don't think Dog can get to him. And he's running out of time, too. They're going to cross the line here with 3 laps remaining. Just 3 more times around the streets of Toronto in the Sim Series Amateur League. Ethan Head, the star of the show, with Dog and Nathan Kiani, the supporting cast, because they've been there, but they certainly haven't taken over the lead. And the field behind the 7 starting to spread out a little bit more. I think Cody Boggs has picked up the pace a touch. And the rest of the field still sitting pretty much single file. It's the problem when you get a challenging course is oftentimes the drivers end up, you know, not side by side and battling each other. But hey, if you're hungry for on-track action, we're going to have 42 cars here in the Sim Series, and that's going to be, I think, much crazier than what we've had here. I mean, yeah, 36 to 42 isn't a big difference, but we're going to have the big, heavy Cup cars on the track, hitting higher speeds on the straightaways, and we will see some more action there. And do be sure to tune in next week, because the Amateur League is going to Barrie Speedway. It's a short, tight oval, and I think within 5 laps, we're going to have lap traffic come into effect. So it's going to be interesting. Oh, Toom's in the chat. Hi, Toom. You're cool. Welcome to the show. It's just ending. We're on lap 33 of 34 here. Ethan Head's still up front by just over a second from Dog. Been dominant all day. Nathan Kiani in third, and the rest of the pack still single file. But stay tuned, because once this is over, we're going to take a quick 10 to 15 minute break, and then we're right back at it with the Sim Series. Pre-qualifying, tons of stories. We've had some crazy, silly season shakeups over the past week. All sorts of action. Driver changes. We have, I think, 2 driver changes this week, plus some more announced for the future. White flag in the air for Ethan Head. And unless Dog pulls some magic apple out of his back pocket, there is nothing he can do for this 8 car. Ethan Head has hit every mark. He's been absolutely perfect. If he would have made a mistake, those cars are right there to clean up, but it's a very mature drive from Ethan Head. He's looking to put that into victory lane. I believe that's Tropical Racing. 8 car. Let me check for myself, actually. Oh, no, I made the same mistake last week. The 8 is not Tropical. The 8 is a independent entry, but it's also using that 2017 Impala. So Ethan Head, for outside line sim racing, dominating performance here on the streets of Toronto. I mean, just untouchable. Dog battled it out hard for the first lap, but after that had nothing to say for the 8's pace. In control every step of the way. And without lap cars, without pit stops, without a single caution, which really surprised me. That bright orange and red Coca-Cola, orange vanilla, Chevy Impala is going to victory lane. And we'll take a look at the standings. The official standings from the race. Ethan Head takes the win. Dog second place. Nathan Kiani, hometown hero, only ends up third. And then 10 seconds down the road, Cody Boggs in the number 7 holds on to 4th ahead of Dumbledore in 5th. And it's Alan Johnston, Caleb Stroup, Nick Sant, Thick Daddy comes home in 9th, and he will hold on to the points lead ahead of TS Media in 10th. Roger Gregory comes home 11th. Jacob Hitz made a pass on Anthony Lopez for 12th. Late in the going, Tropical Cyclone is 14th. Then it's Slow Motion, NJC 217, the Chisholm family, Jake Corey, NASCAR fan 48, and Winty rounding out the top 20. Full results will be posted on the Discord later. But for now, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break, and we'll be right back for the Drive-Thru Sim Series, baby. The main event coming right up. Make sure I have this exported and good to go. Thank you all for watching. And again, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stick around. Go to the washroom. Get some food. Get some pinties. We're going to be here. We're going to be here real soon for the main event of the day.